Thanks, JR, for everything you've done for the Reich.
Hey kids, how you doing? Comic Book Man here. Welcome to the Video Outhouse. It's media news time, and I'm being joined by
JR, good old
JR, and we're here to give you all the latest media news that's fit to babble about. Now, be sure to stop off at the website www.myalternatereality.com. Check out all the media news that Bocephus posts up, and these videos, which are going to start going on the store's website as well as Facebook and YouTube. First up, we're doing comic book movie news. First up is Captain Blood. Now, it's not a comic originally. No. This was not a comic originally. This was a novel which was made into a film back in the 30s with Errol.
With the late great Errol Flynn.
Errol Flynn,
one of my all-time fave movies.
And they're talking about bringing this guy back. Warner Brothers is.
Warner Brothers is reaching into the classic lit department. Raphael Sabatini's novel, from which this comic book comes from, and the aforementioned movie. But it's not going to be the Captain Blood that we all know and love.
Oh, it's going to be Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp.
No, well, no casting yet, of course, and no script yet either. But probably a start there. It's
going to be a Somali pirate.
Colonel. No, because it's not. It's one thing to have the sailing ships and all that stuff. We need to put Captain Blood. Yeah, exactly. Captain Blood in space.
Does anyone remember Message from Space with Vic Morrow? Am I the only one that remembers Message from Space?
Yes. Yes, you are. So, then they say Warner's claims they're going to be very faithful to the Sabatini novel.
Except they'll be in space.
They're just going to have spaceships instead of pirate ships.
This just in to Warner Brothers. This just in.
Yes, they're going to be faithful. It's going to be spaceships. Captain Blood will be a dog.
5 legs.
Exactly. It'll be a musical.
And it'll be a crime caper. By the time that'll be just like it.
And if that doesn't piss you off enough, Warner's isn't done yet, because they want to take another stalwart classic character, Robin Hood, who apparently is a public domain character, because Scott is making his own movie.
Robin Hood is like Hercules or like a lot of other characters in public domain. Anybody can do a Robin Hood movie or a comic or anything.
Let's make a Robin Hood movie. Come
on.
Make one. Hey gang, let's get together and make a Robin Hood movie.
In space.
Warner Brothers again. No, this won't be in space, but you're close, Mr. Cameraman. This is
Under the Sea.
No, which would be, yes, Irwin Allen has come back from the grave and give us Robin Hood Under the Sea. No, this one is going to be in the future.
The future.
In the future. A dystopian London of the future. A band of mercenaries in a dystopian London of the future, and it's going to be great. They're going to rob from the mutants and give to the norms.
And give to the norms.
Something like that.
There you go.
All right, so that's enough of that, because man, I'm vomiting a little in my mouth.
Continuing with comic book news, this one really is comic book news.
Yes, and good
Captain Blood was sort of sideways, but this is really comic book news. Yeah, really good comic book news. This comic right here, this phone book, this comic right here has been optioned by AMC, American Movie Classics, which blows.
Which blows, except when you get down to their original series.
Yeah.
American Movie Classics, which shows as part of their library of American Movie Classics every Halloween and Friday the 13th movie, which how that falls under the banner of classic, I don't know. But there are
none of the crap they run.
But
Achilles!
the original series department of AMC, which does Mad Men, one of the finest television series on right now. Breaking Bad, which is another one of the finest television series. They have The Prisoner coming out later this year, which God knows how that's going to turn out. But Frank Darabont, the man who directed Shawshank Redemption and The Green Mile, has optioned this very book, Robert Kirkman's Walking Dead. Zombies be hot right now.
Zombies be hot.
So this is going to become a television series for AMC. Darabont will produce it. He will write and direct the 2-hour pilot. And look for that coming soon.
Soon. Thumbs up to that.
Yeah,
hope it's good. Idea. Hope it's good. Hope it's good. Okay. When Captain Blood does come out, we talked about that before. When Captain Blood comes out,
we're going to dress as pirates when we go to the theater.
We're going to dress up as futuristic pirates.
Space pirates.
That movie will eventually hit the theaters, and it'll be reviewed by the fine folks at the movies, who are now new people at the movies. They replaced them.
Thank the gods there's new people over at the movies.
What happened to the old ones?
They got...
No, I don't mean the old ones. I don't mean Roper and Ebert, but the new old ones.
Back in Carbon Freeze.
They got firewood.
Fired? But they were so good.
What? What? No, the two Bens, Dover and the other guy,
and Jerry,
recently got their hats handed to them by the folks at Buena Vista Television.
Get out.
Yeah, pretty much. 1 year and you're out. They didn't.
They had a year.
They had a year.
You can't do it in a year. You ain't never doing it.
Man, that show became insufferable to watch with those two guys. And and here's the thing. Here's my pet peeve. It was still called At the Movies, but the set changed to what looked like it was a living room.
Yeah, my favorite part was always the rumpus room, where they go downstairs and stand at the bar. So, tell me all about G.I. Joe that's in the theaters. Well, Ben.
That was a show in need of some direction. It was in need of stars. It was in need of I don't know what. But they're gone. The two Bens are gone, replaced by A.O. Scott, Tony Scott of the New York Times, and Michael Phillips of the Chicago Tribune. Now those,
both of whom were on the hot rotation list for the last group that were on there.
Yes,
Ebert and Roper, when Ebert got sick, those two were there like every other week.
There was a revolving door of critics for Ebert's seat.
But they were there most.
They were there most, and they're very literate, and they have a good film history background behind them as well. They understand film history, unlike one or two of the Bens.
Yeah.
Who, their film history goes back to like '88.
Movie good.
Yeah,
Movie good.
Exactly. So that's the best news that show could have ever had.
The last story we've got is Superman. There's been, I'm sure has been all over the internet, the judge in the Siegel case has come up with a ruling, and we're going to bring in our guest media host, Bo Cephas.
Yes.
Bo Cephas is here to tell us all about it because he's been researching this night and day.
Hello.
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 The judge.
Hello. Oh, wait a second. Let me pick up your cue. Here's your cue.
Meanwhile, as the tape is rolling,
yes.
The judge has decided that the Siegel family owns basically all the origin material, and the Warner Brothers people and DC can't use them. That means Superman flying from Krypton as a little baby, being found by the Kents, all the stuff that starts out his entire life. No longer belongs to Warner Brothers. It belongs to the Siegel and Schuster estates. So if they want to use that for the planned Superman film, they've got to pay them for it.
In specific, the judge awarded them rights to the first 2 months of the Superman comic strip from back in the 40s.
Yes, they own
the first couple of issues of Action Comics and the first couple of issues of Superman comics. That effectively is Krypton, Smallville, which, as you have reminded me, was not called Smallville back in that time, but the Ma and Pa Kent stuff. And also, I think from a previous ruling, they also have the rights to Lois Lane, Jimmy Olsen, and a couple of other incendiary characters.
I think Luthor might
Lex
be
Luthor
in
is owned. Lex Luthor is not owned by them, but Warner still owns them. And we're mentioning all this basically because the clock is ticking. The judge told them they've got to get a Superman movie started in production by 2011. If they don't have the film started at that point, then the Siegel and Schuster families own the character, and Warner's and DC cannot use them unless they pay them.
And think about this. This gives the Siegels the right to take what they own right now, which is all the backstory of Superman, and go to another studio and say, hey, you interested? And this would be I think it would be a first. That would be the first time anything like that has ever happened with a comic book character or a major franchise character.
That is all assuming that Warner's lets the character slip away.
Which they won't.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think this is going to come down to what it's always going to come down to. Warner's has spent all this time in court trying to wear the Siegels down. Ultimately, what this is going to be is money. That's all it's going to come down to. Siegels are going to get a buttload of money from Warner's at some point, unless Warner's wants to let the character slip out of their fingers, and I don't think they're going to because he's too much of a moneymaker for them. But I think the Warner's is going to come up with some money for the Siegels, so they'll be happy. Warner's will have the character, they'll be happy, and I think one way or the other you're going to be seeing more Superman stuff because if Warner's has to pay through the nose to get Superman, then they're going to actually start doing something with him creatively on a regular basis. Because right now they're not. It's found property. The current folks at Warner Brothers did nothing to create Superman. Okay, and when they got to start actually paying for him, I think there's going to be a lot more incentive for them to actually do something with him. How much are we paying for this guy? Get a movie out there. Get a this out there. Get a TV series out there. Get something done with him. So yeah, I think it's all going to come down to money.
So it's all good news then.
It's very good
It's all
news.
good news. Let's pony up a couple bucks.
Okay.
Especially for the Siegels and Schusters because they're going to get a buttload of money.
And they deserve it.
And they deserve it. Okay, that's it for us. Thanks, Bo.
Thanks,
Well,
Bo.
no problem.
And
kids.
thank you too, JR.
Hey, no problem.
Stop over the website, www.myalternatereality.com.
Thank you, JR.
That's where he posts up the news and he talks about the news.
He talks
and
about
I just wash the dishes. So until next time, this is Comic Book Man
Bo,
JR,
saying
so long.
thanks for playing. So long,
Come again.
kids.